What's up, Roos? I'm Lawrence Brooks IV, and welcome to a new semester of Roo News
COVID-19 mask mandate.
There's a lot to cover.
Lieutenant Governor Mike UMKC reported.
UMKC catches a break from the recent COVID surge, but the total number of cases continue to climb. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lawrence Brooks IV.
And I'm Sylvia Jeffress. The total number of COVID cases now stands at 88, a slight decrease from 115 from January 31st, 2022. For all cases reported this semester, that takes us up to 188, already passing half of what we saw for the entire fall semester. You can get a free COVID-19 test at the UMKC Student Health and Wellness Center at 51st Street in Oak in Suite 237. And UMKC will offer vaccines to us via their partnership with Samuel U. Rogers Health Center. According to umkc.edu/coronavirus/vaccines, quote, clinics will be held at the UMKC Student Union in the Jasmine's Cafe and Bakery Stage area, end quote. The next clinic will be on February 15th from 1 to 5 p.m.
Well, spring graduation is back at the K. UMKC officially announced that this upcoming spring 2022 class will walk the stage at Cunningham Stadium, the home of the Kansas City Royals. In a press release, the chancellor said, quote, commencement at the K in 2021 was so exciting and successful that it was always going to be our first choice for this year. We are once again so very grateful to John Sherman and the Royals organization for making it possible for us to give graduates the Major League send-off celebration they deserve, end quote. The commencement is scheduled for Sunday, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
The University of Missouri System Board of Curators approved 2 new degree programs. Starting in fall of 2023, you can pursue either Bachelor of Science or Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. The program combines both biological and chemical sciences with engineering, whether it be mechanical or electrical. These degrees come after UMKC revealed the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise and Research Center in 2021. The $32 million building will accommodate the programs well with the state-of-the-art technology. Guess that means I'm going to have to change programs.
Not me, man. I'm out of here, man. May. It's a wrap, baby. You know, I can't wait to walk at the K, man. I might try to hit a home run while I'm out there.
Dang.
This week marks the final days of court warming. From February 9th to February 12th, UMKC will host numerous events highlighting nominees for this year's theme, Hop into Hollywood. For a schedule of the events, check out our website at roonews.org.
On to Kansas City news. Rockhurst University took to social media to condemn the horrible actions at a Black History Zoom panel. This comes after some unknown individuals repeated racial slurs and derogatory statements during a panel discussion including local Black business owners. President Thomas B. Curran told students that, quote, we are appalled that our students, colleagues, and community members were subjected to this senseless act of violence, and we condemn this action in the strongest possible terms, close quote.
Kansas is working on an enormous billion-dollar deal to bring a mysterious manufacturing facility to the area. The company is currently unknown as legislators won't share any details. We will update you with any upcoming news about the situation.
Employees at Google Fiber in Kansas City will vote soon on whether to unionize. BDS Connected Solutions, the contractor that Google uses, is urging their employees to halt such efforts. This comes after Amazon's labor union continues to fight for bargaining rights. The National Labor Relations Board will set a hearing for February 10th to confirm eligibility of union votes. Today, my comrade Lawrence has something he wants to speak about. What do you have for us this week?
Missouri State Senate Bill 666 that is sponsored by none other than Republican and conservative grifter, Senator Eric Burleson of Battlefield and Greene County. It is also sponsored by domestic terrorism enthusiast and best Rambo impersonator of the 2020 BLM protests in St. Louis, Mark McCluskey. By brandishing his AR-15 on peaceful protesters, launched his rise to stardom in the contemporary proto-fascist conservative movement. He is now running for Senate seat being vacated by Roy Blunt. Simply put, this bill is an intentional and egregious expansion of the already heinous stand your ground law and castle doctrine. A law that is responsible for the extrajudicial/vigilante killings of Trayvon Martin in 2012 and most recently 17-year-old Cedric Lofton, who was murdered in juvenile detention in Kansas this past September. Stand Your Ground has been around since 2005. first enacted in Florida, then taken nationwide by the corporate bill factory and conservative legal scam, ALEC. If signed into law, this bill would make self-defense claims by vigilante murderers ubiquitous and unchallengeable in a time where political and social strife manufactured by the far right is at its highest since the civil rights era. Legally, if we shift the burden from proof from defendants to the prosecution, that would essentially prevent charges from being filed for murder. There is no doubt that this bill is a response to the convictions of Derek Chauvin in the killing of George Floyd and the three killers of Ahmaud Arbery. Surprisingly, this bill has faced backlash from state and county prosecutors, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the Missouri Sheriff's Union. Along with the NAACP and the national media, they have dubbed this this criminal legislation, the Make Murder Legal Act. It's clear the remnants of white supremacy in this country just attempted to expand their campaign of intimidation and terrorism via their twisted view of the Second Amendment and its application. This is a component of their resurgent lust for civil war to avenge the lost cause. However, you lost in 1865, 1945, 1965, and 2020. For all of us fighting for freedom and to the end of domestic terrorism of neo-Confederate ideology against all minority groups, we must take a stand either at the ballot, strategic organizing, and resistance, as Malcolm X once said.
Thank you, Lawrence. News welcomes a new member to our team.
Here's Joshua Cunningham with the review of the latest hit album, Dawn FM by The Weeknd.
Thanks for having me here today. The Weeknd released one of the most anticipated albums last month, Dawn FM. Dawn FM continues the marvelous streak of hit albums from the Grammy Award winner. Abel Tesfaye started his career as an R&B singer in 2011 when he released The House of Balloons. He followed up with Thursday, Echoes of Silence, and Kissland. However, his rise of fame grew in 2015 when he released the hit album Beauty Behind the Madness. At the time, the song Can't Feel My Face exploded in the world of pop culture, which helped Abel win numerous awards, including Grammy Award for Best Progressive R&B Album. Since then, he still dominates the world of the music industry. Before Dawn FM, The Weeknd released his trendy album, After Hours, which included the smash hit song Blinding Lights. The catchy song lingered in the #1 spot of the Billboard charts for 90 weeks straight, making it one of the only songs to last that long in the #1 spot. Back to Dawn FM. This album makes for a spiritual listening experience. I believe that Abel explores the ideas of death and acceptance throughout. Dawn FM meaning goes deep as the album resembles a radio station that you listen to before you pass away. When you listen to Dawn FM, a lot of The Weeknd's past struggles present themselves. However, he evolves from his struggles to his growth and thoughts on ever so avoidable concept of death. He also pulls a 180 by asking the listener if they were to die right now, would they be satisfied with their life? It may scare some away, but I believe that Dawn FM is one of the best albums by The Weeknd. Yes, the sound is very different, but the message throughout is strong. If you haven't listened to his album, you are missing out and you won't regret it. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching and come back next week as I list some of the best albums of 2021. Now back to Sylvia and Lawrence in the studio.
Well, from The Weeknd, we go to what happened last week in sports.
Here's News Jackson Ogden with the sports show In the Den with Jackson Ogden. Jackson?
Welcome back into the Den. I'm Jackson Ogden. On this week's show, I'll recap the results of last week's game, catch you up on the latest NFL news, and give you my Super Bowl predictions that may or probably will not be accurate. With that being said, let's get started. The Kansas City Roos men's basketball team took care of business this weekend against St. Thomas and Western Illinois. Facing them for the first time in UMKC history, the Roos rallied for a slugfest to take down St. Thomas 81-72 this past Thursday. Meanwhile, Kansas City endured a physical contest against Western Illinois, but left the game victorious with a 91-82 dub on Saturday. The Roos improved to 8-4 in conference play and 15-9 overall with 6 games to go. Also, I want to give a major congrats to Coach Billy Donlin for passing former head coach Bob Sunfold for 5th most wins in UMKC history. Talk about a frickin' GOAT in the making. Kansas City will travel for the next 4 games, facing St. Thomas, Oral Roberts, North Dakota, and North Dakota State. Sweep 'em, fellas. Speaking of sweeping, the women's team also swept their opponents, going 2-0 against St. Thomas and Western Illinois. They now sit at 7-4 in the Summit League Conference and hold the best record in their league at 18-5. Look for them to continue their great stretch of performances this Saturday, February 12th at the Swanee Rec Center against Oral Roberts. Now on to some other college hoops news. The Kansas Jayhawks recovered from a bad loss last week and devoured number 8 Baylor 83-59. Take that, you silly Bears. The win keeps KU in first for the Big 12 standings as the season begins to wind down. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Mizzou won a conference road game on the road. I didn't even see this coming. Well, it's not a big accomplishment as they barely got Texas A&M 70-66. The Tigers improved to 9-13 on the season and 3-6 in SEC play. I want to know for all my fellow Roos that Mizzou's collapsed because their first loss of the season came to UMKC. So you're welcome, SEC fans. Okay, now let's talk about the bonkers NFL. But first, let me celebrate the retirement of the ageless freak, Tom Brady. Thank you! Finally! Man, this is better than the Super Bowl. He cannot hurt us anymore. Okay, but back to the news. Tom Brady called it quits last week to focus on a new chapter in his life as he wants to evolve his business and be there for his family. Why didn't you do this at like 38, dude? God, I mean, you're good and all. You made millions. You made millions of fans suffer. Come on, man, I was waiting. Especially Chiefs fans. But seriously, congrats, Tom, on your retirement. Just please do not pull a Brett Favre. Speaking of Chiefs fans, 5 players from Kansas City participated in the 2022 NFL Pro Bowl, including Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. While it would have been nice to see them playing next week, it was nice to see them happy in Las Vegas. But even though I enjoy watching these players, man, was the Pro Bowl bad. I mean, I tuned in like late fourth quarter. I was doing homework and Mac Jones was doing the gritty. I mean, it was all sorts of whack. Okay, I'll stop with the slander. Let's just get to the last bit of news. Ex-head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, is suing the NFL over claims of racism. The Dolphins fired Flores this January after posting a respectable 9-8 record. The lawsuit comes after the New York Giants bamboozled Flores during an interview, as the job already went to former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll. With only one active African-American head coach, the lawsuit aims to create necessary change in the hiring system. I will update you on the lawsuit as more info comes out. For our final NFL headline, the Washington football team announced its new name change to the Washington Commanders? The Red Wolves was right there. What are you doing? Terrible. Now with all that news out of the way, let's talk about Super Bowl predictions, shall we? Super Bowl 56 hosts the number 4 seed Cincinnati Bengals and the number 4 seed Los Angeles Rams. Here's my prediction. Here we go. I think the Rams have a better team. I think they're going to get at least 4 or 5 sacks in this game. Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in football. Their secondary is elite. The Rams offense has more playmakers. No offense, Jamar Chase. But Cincinnati Bengals have, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, a bad man in Joe Burrow. That number 9 is the next coming. Give me Cincinnati 31-28. Evan McPherson, game winner at the horn. That's my pick, so the exact opposite will probably happen, but that's what I'm saying. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to tune in next week for all things sports and Super Bowl recap.
I used to think the Super Bowl was about cereal.
Oh, man.
If only it was. Thanks for joining us this week. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram.
And check out RooTV and Roo News for campus and KC Metro News. We'll see you next week.